You're right guys, Toolstop and Dewalt had a great idea of making some projects and auctioning them off for charity, and they very kindly asked if I'd like to be the one to make those projects, so of course I jumped at the chance. I'm going to be raising the money for the Birmingham Childrens Hospital, which is something very close to my heart. I spent a long time in there as a child, so anything I can give back to those that gave me everything, of course I'm going to jump at the chance at doing that. The auctions are still being organised and everything like that, so as soon as I know more information, I'll be sure to let you all know how you can get involved and stuff like that. But I really hope you like this project. It's a blanket chest or an ottoman, depending what you want to call it, so I hope you like it. This project starts with a sheet of 18mm plywood. To cut it down, I use the Dewalt track saw, which has become my new favourite tool. You simply place the track down on your cut line and then the saw slides along it nice and easily, creating a very accurate and clean cut. It does kick out a bit of dust, so hooking it up to the dust extractor makes a huge difference. With the pieces cut, I installed a slot cutter in the router to create the groove in the plywood. These slots receive some 6mm MDF to act as floating tenons, kinda like a tongue and groove system. This made the assembly of the pieces very easy and straightforward. I used the same joinery technique on some strips of walnut to make the lid of the box. Instead of MDF, I used some 6mm walnut as the floating tenons instead. Once the lid was dry, I offered it up to the box and marked around the edges. The shorter sides will be cut to length and the mark at the front will be a guide for later. I used the track saw to cut the lid to length. Using the track clamps made sure everything stayed secure. I wanted a live edge look to the lid, so I used the jigsaw to create the effect I wanted. I have a dedicated video talking through this technique linked in the description down below. Adding legs to the box should give it a more modern look. I started by making them out of plywood. Painting them with primer and then black gloss really didn't give the effect I was looking for, so I remade them from MDF. This time I used a foam roller to apply the black gloss paint, which gave a much better look. Unfortunately, the footage of me routing out the recess in the base corrupted, but I used the same slot cutting bit that I used earlier. It's just set to 18mm deep so the plywood base would fit inside flush. After masking around the edges, I painted the bottom with black paint. In all the charity builds, I want to incorporate the Birmingham Childrens logo, which is a red balloon with a white plaster. So using a piece of Purdue cardwood, I set about creating the balloon. The jigsaw gave me a rough shape, which I then cleaned up with a file. Using a drill, I transferred the marks from the image to the wood. I then joined the holes with a marking knife. A chisel cleared out the wood easily to give me the cross. I reduced the thickness of the knot on the balloon to give it a more realistic look. I also rounded over the edges of the balloon. To fit the balloon into the lid, I marked around it and then used the router to route out the pocket. For the string to the balloon, I used a profile bit in the router. The plaster on the balloon in the logo is white, so I filled it with white milliput. I used black milliput for the string. When fully set, I sanded them both to reveal the design. The balloon could then be glued into place. Moving back to the box, I painted the inside red. I thought this would be a really nice contrast when you open the lid. The masking tape on the legs made sure the wood glue would adhere properly to the MDF. They can then be glued to the side of the box. Masking tape holds it in place while the glue dries. Now to fit the hinges. With the hinges on, I also added a lid stay to keep the lid open. For the finish, I used some satin polyurethane sanding between coats. I really hope you like the finished piece.